What is up, you guys? It's the Michael Myers. Welcome back to a brand new live stream. So yeah, man, give me a quick second, guys. I'm trying to set up the camera. Like always, I'm never ready. But yeah, man. I mean, as you guys know, today is Saturday. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday, man. I mean, I decided to go live, man. You guys know me. I usually go live during the week. There's been a few times I've been live, during the weekend and stuff like that. But it's been a while, so I decided, man, today I'm gonna do a quick one for you guys. And I wanted to kind of start this new series, you could say. This is episode 1 of this new series. And it's called What If? So pretty much, and I'm pretty sure this is just something I just decided to do last minute. Like last night, I got the idea. I'm like, let me set up the live stream. So yeah, episode 1 of What If? I'm pretty sure other people have kind of done the same thing, kind of go through movies that, were actually supposed to happen and, kind of just discuss them, kind of talk about them, talking about what if, these movies actually came out. There's a lot of good ones, man. There's a lot of good ones that, never came out. I know one of you guys also recommended me the other time to do kind of like a top 5 or something of like canceled horror movies, and those are always good. So I think I might do something like that. This is kind of similar. We're gonna be taking a look at a movie that was canceled, that was scrapped, but it was actually supposed to happen. So the first one I decided to take a look at, as you guys can see, I even got the poster in the background. It's a fan-made poster. Michael Myers versus Pinhead. So as you guys know, man, crossovers, big thing we always talk about here on the channel. As you guys know, that's the reason I decided to start it off with this one, man, because I know a lot of you guys, we always constantly be talking about, the crossovers. And I know, I get it, the whole crossover thing, kind of a silly idea. When it comes to these horror characters, like I said, it might have worked once with Freddy versus Jason, but, and to a lot of people, to their surprise, a lot of people wonder, man, how come there was never, after Freddy versus Jason, there was more. They continue to do more crossovers because, Freddy versus Jason was pretty damn successful. It was successful enough for them to make a sequel, and they didn't even do a sequel. They decided to remake the movies. And like I said, man, due to the success, I'm pretty sure other companies, other studios, were trying to put their hand in there, man. So, and yeah, so Michael versus Jason, or not Michael versus Jason, Michael versus Pinhead, was, I will say, the closest one to actually happen. I mean, it was an idea. I believe there was even scripts that were written, some drafts, early drafts of, the whole idea. You guys could look it up. Like I'm pretty much just going to talk about it. Like, I'm not going to go too deep into it. Like, there's videos out there, there's more information out there, kind of like going like deep into the script and stuff like that. Here, I'm just here to talk about it like as an overall thing, but yeah, there's a lot of, if you guys do your research, if you guys do your homework, there's a lot to look, man. There's a lot of stuff you could find, online, and it's always great looking at old stuff, that was actually, supposed to happen. So I recommend it. If you guys, are interested in, the whole, Michael versus Pinhead situation. You guys could definitely look it up, man, and you guys could probably come across, the script or whatever. I'm not sure if it was an official script. It could have been, like I said, just an idea of, but I'm pretty sure there was already like a few directors on board. But for this, Curtis Smith, yo, what's up, man? But yeah, man, I mean, if honestly, my opinion, like I said, the whole crossover thing, kind of, you could say silly. And check it out. I even put on, I don't know if you guys can see, I put on my Hellraiser shirt for the video, as you guys can see. Check it out, Hellraiser. So yeah, man, like I said, kind of like a silly idea, especially when. And I do agree with the statement. I know a lot of you guys could agree with me on this one. If this movie were to actually, um, if it actually happened, if it actually came out and everything, um, it probably wouldn't have been as great. Honestly, like I said, there's a few plot details, story details out there. You guys could look up if you guys want to know like specific details. This was a movie, a script written for a movie to be, cheesy, gimmicky, kind of like Freddy versus Jason was, kind of like a cheesy film. But quick second, guys. Okay, so yeah, so this movie, crossover movie, it's pretty much what Freddy versus Jason was. It's a fun movie. Of course, they were grabbing two iconic characters and crossing them over. And like I said, man, the whole crossover craze, kind of, you could say early 2000s. They did Alien versus Predator and all that. But like I said, man, I do kind of get why they didn't pursue the whole crossover thing, because it is kind of like, for example, Freddy versus Jason. It took a very long time, man. It took a very long time to even make that movie. I believe since the um, late 80s, man. I believe so. Early 90s, they were trying to make Freddy versus Jason, and it didn't come out literally till the early 2000s. So yeah, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. Because you got different. When it comes to Freddy and Jason, you got different companies owning the rights. You got to split things. You gotta. Everyone has to be on board. Everyone has to be in the same page. Now, in this case, Michael versus Pinhead. It wasn't, they didn't really have that struggle, you could say. They didn't really have to go through all that, the rights, like Freddy and Jason was owned by Paramount, New Line Cinema. They eventually, negotiated for Jason, for them to even make Freddy versus Jason. But with this, when it comes to this, you guys got to remember, this was, I think, late 90s, early 2000s. This was when Dimension Films had the rights to the Halloween franchise. I believe they picked it up after Halloween 5. I think Halloween 6 is the first Halloween movie under Dimension. I could be wrong. Maybe H2O is the first one. But one of those two. That's when Dimension picked them up. And of course, as you guys know, in the 90s, in the 2000s was when we were getting all those crappy straight to DVD Hellraiser sequels, of course, by Dimension Films. So they had these two characters at the palm of their hands. So they took it upon themselves, man, to like pitch this idea or whatever. Did you say a new horror crossover, Curtis Smith? It's not a new crossover. It was a crossover that was actually supposed to happen. Like I said, it was once pitched. It was once under consideration, like I said, due to the whole success of like Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator, and stuff like that. So like I said, they were, it's definitely, they weren't gonna miss on that, cash grab, on that missed opportunity. I mean, these movies do big. Freddy versus Jason, that was definitely more of a successful movie than any movie in both franchises. You know what I mean? So they definitely do numbers, man. Crossovers till this day. I mean, I'm not sure they don't really do as much now. I mean, the one think of, when it comes to recent times, like the Godzilla versus Kong. But when it comes to horror characters, like I said, I don't think it wouldn't have necessarily worked, man. Because like I said, I think if they actually continued after Freddy versus Jason, it kind of would have been kind of like a gimmicky thing. It would have kind of been like the trend to do, and I think it would have eventually gotten played out. So I'm at the same time, I'm kind of glad they didn't, continue with crossover movies. Yo, Chippy, what's up, man? I love the poster. Yeah, man, this poster is a fan made poster. Like I said, there's a lot of dope content, man. There's a lot of dope concept art. I remember being a kid, man, on Google, looking at these, fan made posters, thinking all these crossovers were real. Yeah, man, good shit. But yeah, man, appreciate you guys tuning in for sure, man. Chippy, Michael versus Jason, I would have want more. You know what, Chippy, Michael versus Jason is kind of like, you could say everyone's like obvious choice. Like everyone's like to be honest, when you mentioned Michael versus Pinhead, I remember me thinking for the first time when I first heard that, it was kind of strange, because it's not like it's two whole different things, So it's kind of strange when you hear this. Like it's kind of more fitting if it was Michael versus Jason. But like I said, I figured they were trying to do Pinhead. They were trying to do Pinhead because Dimension had both of the characters. But hell yeah, dude! Michael versus Jason. I think that would be like the ultimate crossover, if you ask me. But hell yeah, man! That's like the main. That's like our dream crossover. Like I said, I think that's like the main one we gravitate towards. What's up, Michael? My Infinity Dragon. Yo, what's up, buddy? What's up? What's up? Appreciate you guys. Like I said, man, hope you guys are having a good Saturday, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I mean, you guys, I know, like I said, the whole idea, crossover, kind of silly, but you guys would have loved to see Michael versus Pinhead? Like I said, I believe there's scripts out there that if you do like deep research, you could probably find them. There's like specific details here. I'm gonna try to grab stuff from my mind they had in the script. A lot of stuff you could say wasn't necessarily gonna work because, like I said, it's more of like a gimmicky movie, So it wasn't like a movie to take as serious. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think that's just the point of the crossovers. But yeah, I'm kind of glad, like I said, they didn't blow out to be like mainstream and stuff like that. I mean, the whole crossover thing, it eventually, you could say that the whole Marvel, universe or whatever, they're kind of on that thing. But horror kind of gambled into that before even Marvel did. So like I said, I just figured they didn't continue because with horror characters it wouldn't have worked. Like I said, probably one Freddy versus Jason, it had issues. Despise, being one of my personal favorites, the film that got me into horror, it has issues, But my brother had a Michael versus Jason. Oh yeah, for sure, Chippy. I've seen a lot of those. I remember as a kid, I would print them out, like the fan made. You could even still probably find the same ones. Like I remember, I would print them out, dude, tape them up on the wall. A lot of dope posters, man. Fan made posters. Like I had a Michael like versus Jason versus Freddy, which obviously as a kid it's like really exciting, but obviously this was all of ours fantasy, all of our fantasies, the fans' fantasies, we like to express it, with art, the fan art, and it's great shit, man. It's great shit. So, and whenever I see those, exact posters, fan made posters now, I'm like, damn, dude, like it's really nostalgia. Like this fan made poster in the background. I found it like yesterday on Instagram, man. I'm like, it's dope, I had to save it. So, what about Chucky versus Leprechaun? You know what, Curtis Smith? I think that was another one. I don't even know if they, I don't even think they considered it, but I remember seeing fan posters of that too and thinking that was real. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Chucky, this little doll, Leprechaun, the little guy, it's obvious, So as a kid, it's kind of like you kind of think it's real, Another good crossover idea, but most likely we are going to see Megan versus Chucky. You know what, Chippy? I did hear that. I think I did hear something around those lines. I think Don Mancini touched on it, dude. It's not. It wouldn't be surprising, dude. Honestly, because like I said, Chucky, they could do whatever now. They have a TV show. I even heard they might take him to space. All this shit, man. It will be kind of like it will be interesting to see. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not the greatest idea. But like I said, I feel now, if it's possible, I think Chucky and Megan would, especially in these times, in recent times we're in. I think that's like the most more you could say relevant crossover they could do. You know, I mean, Megan was successful. Um, you know, people are waiting on the sequel. Chucky, of course, never goes out of style. Um, you know, he has a TV show going on. So yeah, it could happen. You know, it definitely could happen. But yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see what happens. I'm not that excited, but I mean, like I said, seeing these little two go at it, hey man, I'm all in. You know, count me in. But uh, but yeah, man. I mean, Michael versus Pinhead. Like I said, I remember first hearing about it. Kind of a weird idea. Kind of like a weird idea for them to put them together. But like I said, it kind of makes sense now when you know. Of course, we have knowledge. Dimension had both of the franchises at that time. You know, and like I said, the script. I remember certain details. Like I said, I believe they were trying to it's funny because like I said, a lot of this shit is not like to take serious, but I could just imagine it being played out on the screen. So I guess they were gonna try to like have of course like the Cenobites, of course they were gonna go against Michael and stuff like that before they get to, you know, the big guy, you know, Pinhead, you know. And from what I got from, you know, from what I heard a little bit from the story, they were gonna try to make Michael like, I wouldn't say water him down. I wouldn't say weaker. I mean, like I said, Pinhead, Cenobites, they're demons. They're this whole other thing. So the obvious answer, like of course, these demons, these Cenobites, would kill the shit out of Michael. Um, but yeah, it was kind of something around those lines. The Cenobites, Pinhead, were gonna try to fuck with Michael, and you know, and I believe they were gonna have other characters. Like I believe, uh, uh, um, like other characters from the franchises. Like I think, I'm not sure if Daniel Harris was the, you know, Jamie, the character Jamie Lloyd was supposed to be in there. You know, once she's grown, the girl from Hellraiser, the main girl, what's her name? Ashley Lawrence. I think she was supposed to come back. Certain characters from each of the franchise were like, you know, like survivors were supposed to come. I guess they were gonna like not reunite, but they were gonna like come together. You know, talk about their experiences. Like I said, there you guys could do your research. There's fully more deeply detailed, but the question would be which Michael were they going to use? You know what, Chippy? That's an interesting that's an interesting question, a good question. You know what? From my guess, like I said, this was probably late '90s, early 2000s. Dimension Myers. From what it seems, from what how I've been picturing it this whole time, I feel they were gonna probably try to use like a maybe a H2O Myers, Resurrection Myers, uh, which, like I said, if you really think about it, not the greatest idea, especially when, of course, you know, Dimension. That was when Dimension had Halloween. So yeah, I figured it would have been around there. You know, Resurrection, H2O. Like I said, it makes sense. Um, so yeah, it definitely would have been a whole different story. Like I don't see like a of course they weren't gonna use the OG Myers. Uh, they didn't have Tyler Mane yet. Um, you know, so yeah, I think it would have been like around the H2O era. Um, Candyman versus Freddy, man. I feel those two could kind of work because they're kind of similar, you know. But yeah, I think Candyman and Freddy could kind of work. Freddy versus Ghostface, eh. I mean, I kind of heard something. I feel it could possibly work, and that's because of the simple fact that these are two Wes Craven creations. There's a lot of Easter eggs, references in in the Scream series, especially in those early films. You know, they have, I think, Sidney living on Elm Street. and like there's references for, there's references of these two franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream, to that take place in the same universe or whatever. It's possible, honestly. I wouldn't mind that, but of course, um it would. I know, because I know Wes Craven was against Freddy versus Jason. So I don't think it was something he would consider, you know. But I mean, it would have been nice. Like I said, there's a lot of connections there and stuff like that. That's too easy for Freddy. Chippy, that's true. That's very true. Because like I said, you guys got to remember, Ghostface is this teenager. He's the teenager killer, whatever, copycat killer, regular teenager dude. Yeah, Freddy gotta go up another demon, motherfucker. So yeah, that's true. You're that's a true point right there. Like I said, I don't even think Wes Craven would have approved. Like I said, there's a lot of similarities, references that kind of tease at us to take place, for it to take place in the same world. But movie ends in 30 seconds. You're true, man. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Ghostface would literally have he'll be killed in his dreams quickly. Freaking 5 minutes into the movie. Um, but yeah, it's always good. It's always nice to look at stuff like that. Connections. Another one that came to mind. And this one was actually up for consideration after Freddy versus Jason. For them to go against Ash. Of course, they did a whole comic book series, and I think they were trying to do the movie out of that comic book series. Like I said, a little too gimmicky, a little too silly, but I think I would have I would have still liked to seen it. Like, for example, I know there was also a few references in those early films. Um, the early Friday the 13th movies. I believe they kind of try to how was it? They kind of try to have, like, the Necronomicon takes action in those Friday the 13th movies. From what I heard, it's kind of like a theory people have out there. I think the Necronomicon was like an Easter egg in the Friday movies, in the Freddy movies too. So yeah, the connection with Evil Dead was always there with Friday. So yeah, even the Deadeye theories out there. Pamela Voorhees used the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead for her to avenge Jason, of course, and of course Jason does come back to life, and is a Deadeye. So yeah, there's always been connection there. That's another one I might do after this one. A what if of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, because that one was actually, like I said, they it was considered the sequel. You know, one of the comic books. Yeah, the comic books, exactly. Yeah. Which, if you ask me, like I said, it's all right. I wouldn't mind. I would like to see it for shits and giggles, but I understand it wouldn't. It might have had not worked. Like I said, even Bruce Campbell, kind of like he put his 2 cents into this. I believe so. Like, I believe he just believed, it was kind of a stupid idea, because Ash, he would literally cut Jason's and Freddy's head off with the chainsaw. There you go, movie over. But so yeah, there's a lot of what ifs, a lot of stuff that might have not worked. From the outside looking in, especially in this time that we're in. Like, you read this stuff, we see this stuff, kind of silly, kind of out of the ordinary, but like I said, man, we've seen a lot of worse horror movies. So hey, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't mind seeing a shitty crossover. Who would fit best versus Leatherface? That's a good one, man. Maybe Jason Voorhees. Jason came to mind. Leatherface. I mean, Evil Dead versus Hellraiser. I mean, possibly. I know they both deal with Deadeye, Cenobites, and all that demon shit. Evil Dead fits Jason because of the camp. Yeah, exactly. So and like I said, throughout the series there's references. So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if if they actually ended up doing Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, because there's a lot of similarities there. You know, I watched Freddy and Jason to cross. Yeah, those two are for sure the top crossovers if you ask me. Art the Clown versus Michael Myers. It's human type killer. Yeah, you're right. Should be kind of like like cannibal kind of killer, kind of like a. Yeah, you're right. Kind of like a dude familiar to Leatherface. I mean, hmm, that's an interesting question, man. I feel like Jason would be easy versus Leatherface. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I feel like they're I don't know. I just feel they're too different, like they're too different. Like I feel like Leatherface has to go against someone like you said, uh, uh um, gruesome. Jason isn't into the whole, cutting face, cutting skins and all that. So yeah, who knows? Who knows, man? For sure. I mean, I know. I'm trying to think. Who else was into that? Hannibal, not Hannibal. Art the Clown, maybe. But like I said, it's I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, like I said, a lot of these don't. They seem really weird, man. A lot of these don't really, you could say we're meant to not necessarily work. Like you could say Freddy and Jason were the more obvious, so that's kind of a given. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. A lot of crossovers. Ideas of crossovers I've heard throughout the years. A lot of crazy ones, man. A lot of crazy ones. Like I said, I just feel some of them are not meant to be. Like for example, this Michael versus Pinhead. It probably was meant to be, but I just feel they couldn't. It wasn't able to rise. It wasn't able to go into production. Um, from what I'm guessing. Um, like I said, this was an idea that was pitched to Dimension Films. They kind of weren't digging it, from what I remember. I believe they were kind of like against the whole idea, which is the main reason I think it got scrapped. But another interesting thing too, man, about this movie, about this what if movie that was initially supposed to come out, which kind of puts us in a stance. It kind of puts us in a position where we say it could possibly work or not. Like it gives us maybe like that potential feel, because I believe, of course, they were gonna try to get Doug Bradley. I think Doug Bradley spoke on this project. They were trying to get Doug Bradley, and I think he was down for it. He was down. Doug Bradley was down for it, but I believe he was down, but only if I think he wanted Clive Barker to direct it, or to be involved in it. Clive Barker, and I think they also wanted John Carpenter to be involved. Like I said, it kind of puts us in that position where like, okay, we got the two original creators from both of these franchises on board, so maybe it could work. But like I said, and I think Clive Barker, I think he might have been down with it. I'm not sure. I don't recall. But moral of the story is those two, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, they kind of gambled into the idea for them both to being on board, how they could go about it. But like I said, I think the lesson of this, I think they figured themselves that these two, Michael Pinhead, they're two different two different entities. They're two different guys, two different characters. So I figured, I think they figured it wouldn't, it probably wouldn't have worked to put them together, So So yeah, and I think that's the reason it was scrapped, man. I think because I just think, like I said, as much as Freddy versus Jason was successful, but I feel like they they figured if they continued, it wouldn't have gotten any more successful. I just think it wasn't taken as serious. Of course, 2000s, man, early 2000s. Uh, the genre itself, man, horror genre, slasher genre, kind of was already going downhill. So I mean, I do get it. I do get why a movie like this didn't fully come to fruition. But like I said, man, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting hearing about it. It's interesting hearing about how the two creators of these characters were actually, considered to be behind this. Um, and yeah, I mean, for the victory, like I said, I feel like Pinhead would, you could say, win but like I said, I feel like Michael is too of a big character for them to just, like, I doubt they were gonna let Pinhead win. Even though, like I said, it's kind of like the obvious, because like I said, Pinhead's like this demon, man. He's this other thing, Cenobites. So I don't know. It's crazy, a lot of what ifs. A lot of shit comes to mind. Um, Ash versus Evil Monsters. Hey man, Ash. I feel like Ash could go down with anyone. I feel like Ash could really because I feel like Ash is the more, you could say, grounded character, the more, you could say, realistic character, you could say. So yeah, I feel like with Ash, he could take on anyone. That sounds like a killer movie. Ash versus Universal Monsters, Pennywise versus Michael Myers. Yeah, man, a lot of shit, a lot of connect. Like, for example, Pennywise. Now that you bring Pennywise up, I heard some connection, like, with Pennywise and Jeepers Creepers. You guys know how I think, like, each 27 years or something like that, they come out, like, there's some similarities in a lot of these characters, in a lot of these franchises. Have you seen The Strangers? Unstable Freak. You know what? I have not seen the trailer. I did see uh uh uh, uh I did see they released the trailer, the trailer and the poster, but I have not seen the trailer, man. But yeah, I believe they are working on a new Strangers trilogy. Pretty cool, man. I mean, I like the first Strangers. The second one, Pray at Night, I don't think it was as good, but yeah, man. But I gotta rewatch that first one. But yeah, I mean, like I said, uh, 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 uh I will check it out though. I will check it out, man, for sure. Yeah, I think it's been out for the past day or so. Um, but like I said, I haven't checked it out. I haven't checked it out. But hey, man, like I said, those movies, they had a nice run, man. And then for them to come out with a new trilogy, I guess it's been doing pretty good. I guess you got some potential over there. Honestly, like I said, I think the first one was pretty good. Home invasion movies, not my type of movies, to be honest with you guys. The Strangers, like I said, I gotta rewatch it. It's not a rewatchable movie for me, but it was still good enough for me to remember it. Like, like it's more memorable than the second one, that's for sure. Like the second one, I think I saw it once. Never saw it again. But hell yeah, man, I would check it out. I definitely would check it out. Uh, yeah, I hope this new trilogy, man, this new, you could say, is it a sequel? Is it following up to the previous movies? Is it a new start? Let me know if you guys know. But yeah, I mean, you could say it's a good comeback. Um, but yeah, like I said, not the biggest home invasion fan. I like Your Next. I thought Your Next was good. Strangers, those two kind of similar. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird is the Jason show and reboot if they do come out the same year. You know what, Chippy? I got no clue. I got no clue what's up with Jason, with the reboot or the show. Last thing I heard was about a show. I even heard about, like I said, the reboot for a long time now. I heard, Blumhouse might even pick it up. I hope not, but I have heard that. I've heard that. Like I said, none of this is like confirmed. Like I've been hearing a lot of the same shit for quite some time now. You know, about Blumhouse eyeing, Friday the 13th. I even heard them kind of eyeing Nightmare on Elm Street. Honestly, I wouldn't want them to pick it up as much as I want to see a Jason movie already, a Freddy movie already. I don't want them to pick it up. I don't know, dude. I just think Blumhouse doesn't have no more to prove. I think they proved enough to us. When it comes to picking up horror franchises. Yeah, I think they should just stop, dude. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen, man? I do agree. It will be kind of weird and strange if they do a show and a movie at the same time. But who knows, man? Who really does know? I feel like people are starting to forget about Freddy and Jason. And you know what, Infinity Dragon? I think that's absolutely that's the truth, man. Because yeah, at one point, and I get it. A lot of people say those movies never really worked, other than in the '80s. But still, man, you still got those fans. And like I said, I get it. These are silly slasher movies or whatever, but there's still fans out there. People will still go out there. As much as silly as it might seem to these studios or whatever, they're still gonna have the day one fans, man. And like I said, I know it is kind of hard because a lot of those day one fans are so attached to the original films, um, which I think is the reason why the remake flopped. The Nightmare remake is because we don't. Robert Englund is Freddy, so even now, like I feel people don't have that same desire. If it's not Robert, I don't think it could. I don't think it would drive people to go out there. It could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Oh shit, a new Nightmare movie. I don't think people would rush to go. Obviously, us fans, yes, but I'm talking about the average audience, which is the studio's main target these days when it comes to these movies. They go for today's audience. So yeah, the way Hollywood's heading, yeah, man, there's no telling what the hell they're gonna do. Like I said, I feel when it comes to these movies, a lot of shit has gone downhill again. You could say they kind of had the ball rolling, man. With these with the new Scream movies, the Blumhouse Halloween. But hey, man, they went downhill, and I think they would have, if they would have continued doing good, I think we would have had more by now. But things are looking pretty quiet. All I'm hearing is new sequels, direct sequels coming out, and shit like that. But I don't know, man. You know what? Yeah, and yeah, that's absolutely true, man, Chippy. Because yeah, it's better for them to play them out and be taken as a joke, be made out as a joke. I'd rather them be forgotten than for them to kind of exploit them, make them a joke, especially in modern times. So yeah, I do agree with that. Like I said, same great example, the Halloween franchise. Like I said, as much as we love Halloween, Myers, I figured that they should leave that franchise to just lay it to rest for a bit. I think that's the best way to go about it instead of coming out with some more bull crap. But yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like I said, a lot of shit. There's no telling. There's no telling what can go down because the way Hollywood's heading. A lot of shit has changed. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not a lot I'm really looking forward to. Um, like there hasn't been anything lately um that excites me that's coming up. So yeah, that's why I haven't gotten too deep into like new horror movie news, Halloween 3 could be worked into a show. I do agree with that. Yeah, and I think it's not a bad idea, for them to do a you could say a Silver Shamrock show, especially since Halloween 3 is such underrated, and there is a fan base out there, and I feel it deserves more recognition. So yeah, I think they should do that. I think they should definitely do that. Um, just to kind of, like I said, shed some light on Season of the Witch. Frankenstein meets the Woodman. Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, crossovers have been going down since back then. The early Universal Monster days. Of course, Frankenstein meets Wolfman. I think they have like two of those, and I think they've done a few more. I think they've done a few more. But like I said, crossover thing. It's a fun thing to talk about. It's a fun thing, but if you really think about it, it's not a. It's not a it's not a, what's it called, it's not a people's first choice, you could say. Wolfman Dracula, that'll be a good crossover. Yeah, man. Even like I said, even back then, the Universal Monster days, they crossed them over, and like I said, even those movies haven't necessarily worked. I know the old Universal Monster movies, they try to kind of like do modern remakes and they never work. Like people still like those damn 1930s 1940 original films still hold up better. But yeah, guys, it's crazy, it's for sure crazy. But yeah, I mean, like I said, overall, Michael versus Pinhead, not, it's a movie I would like to see for shits and giggles. But other than that, dude, yeah, it wouldn't have worked. Like I said, just two different characters, two different worlds, and for them, for trying, for attempting to cross them over, make it take place in the same world, I just think it wouldn't have worked. It would have just stained the legacy on both, especially Halloween. Especially, like, that's one thing too. I think when they took the whole idea to dimension, the creators of Halloween, Masa Akkad, rest in peace. His son owns the rights to Halloween now, Michael Myers now, but his dad, his father, rest in peace, he passed away. He was originally the one who owned the rights. Even him, man, he was against the idea. He pretty much was the one who passed on it. He's the one who passed on the idea. He's the one who pretty much, just dumped the project, and I did hear something along the lines, the Halloween creators kind of felt like Halloween was already established by then. At that time, Hellraiser, the series, was kind of struggling. They were going through the, the straight to DVD shitty sequels. So the Halloween creators, they kind of saw it as, they need us, like, I feel that was the whole thing about it. They wanted to benefit from, the successful Halloween franchise. The Hellraiser, franchise kind of wanted to benefit from that success. Like I said, at that time, they were struggling, shitty sequels. Hellraiser series went downhill, honestly. So yeah, they for sure were trying to make it happen for their benefit, but of course, man, like I said, they were smart enough to not let it happen, and that's the reason why Halloween is where it's at today, and why Hellraiser is where it's at today. That explains it all. I think that explains it all. That explains why this didn't come to light, but yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, what if this film actually came out? How would Michael be looked at now? Pinhead, I feel like he still looked at the same, His resume is just yeah, it's not it's not up there like Michael. You know, doesn't have that same streak as the Halloween franchise. So yeah, I mean, if it would have happened, the Halloween franchise for sure would have been, you could say, looking down more. It would have kind of stained the Halloween legacy. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a blessing in disguise. You know, this film didn't happen, but like I said, it's still fun. It's still fun. You know, going through it, talking about it for shits and giggles. But yeah, man. I mean, that's gonna be pretty much it. This was the first episode of What If. We talked about Michael versus Pinhead. Like I said, you guys could do deep research, deep homework. You guys will definitely find more on this, man. You know, like I said, they even had already a few people on board. So yeah, man. I mean, that's gonna be pretty much it. I will be doing episode 2 soon. I'm gonna see. Like I said, I know you guys did recommend for me to do like kind of like a top 5 canceled horror movies of all time, which, like I said, it sounded like a great idea. I think it was Infinity Dragon who shot the idea. Shout out Infinity Dragon. I could be wrong on that. Whoever, if you guys are here, correct me. But yeah, I will be doing that, and I will episode 2. I'm gonna try to touch on another interesting film that maybe Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, maybe, but I'm thinking of saving that one sooner. You know, just because, you know, this first episode we did a crossover. I kind of want to do a different one next. Maybe the third one would be Freddy versus Jason versus Dash. But you guys could definitely let me know in the comments down below what canceled movies you guys would like for me to take a look at. There's, like I said, there's a lot of good ones that come to mind. A lot of ones that I remember being excited as a kid and they never came out. But yeah, we're definitely gonna get into it. But thank you guys for watching, man. Shout out to all of you guys who tuned in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Hope you guys have a safe Saturday, a safe rest of your weekend. And I will be coming out with more content, man, for sure, during the week. Like I said, I have a few videos in the editing process. So can't wait for you guys to check that out. But that's going to be pretty much it, man. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, shit. I'm almost falling, you guys. But peace out, you guys. Deuces. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. It's the Michael Myers signing out.